Hey everyone, Brandon here, and in today's video, we are going to cover 3D printing for profit. So in this video, I kind of want to break down the different levels that if you're someone that's trying to make money with 3D printing, what I want to do is just kind of break down the different levels and skill sets that you would need, even more so what you should do if you're just starting and you want to make money with this hobby. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I had a call with someone earlier, and this person was interested in working with me to help them kind of fix up their business. More specifically, they were selling or creating files and designs. And based off of the conversation, it was very clear that this person kind of had like a whole bunch of ideas they wanted to take action on, but literally zero action on the things that actually, matter the most, which actually made them money. And the main reason why I'm making this video is because I see kind of a lot of people that go into this hobby and they have lots of ideas to the point where they get overwhelmed, and they often second guess or even question themselves. They ask things like, should I sell physical? Should I sell STL files? Should I do both? Oh, what if someone copies me? And it's all these things that prevent people, that essentially holds them back. And in reality, what ends up happening, especially in this case with this person, is that most people would say things like that. They would question what to sell, what to do. They overcomplicate what is really a simple process of just selling and making money, right? They overcomplicate it to the point where instead of just taking action on the thing that they are naturally good at, they start taking action on things that honestly they're not good at, and then they wonder why they feel like they're stuck or overwhelmed. And the whole purpose of this video is to kind of set the ladder here for most people who are just getting started, even more so the skill sets that you need, especially if you want to have a competitive edge against everyone else. And even more so since I have in 3D printing school, which is a community where I help people learn how to design and sell, a lot of the people that I work with in there, they are either complete beginners when it comes to selling, or they're already been selling and they're just kind of throwing 3D printing into the niche or into the existing catalog. And I can tell you, as someone who doesn't sell kind of like the general market of what the general market sells, like Dragons, Flexies, or toys, I can tell you what they tell me is that most people are starting to see a decrease in their revenue and sales on products like that, on licensed models, simply because, it's oversaturated. Two, there is, maybe there's customers are starting to see through it. They see the quality that they get in the mail from sellers, bad sellers, and they don't want to spend money on it anymore. People want unique stuff. They want stuff that is unique and not just that every seller has, right? So you, as a business owner, you need to stay competitive. You need to have products that no one has access to, and you need to know how to get customers to buy those products. So what I want to do in this video is break down 3 key things here. This video is for anyone who wants to build a business with 3D printing, and not a 3D printing business. Very clear on this. A business with 3D printing, because 3D printing is just the way we make products, not the way we sell it. So the second thing is anyone who lacks clarity on how to get started. So if you feel like you feel stuck, overwhelmed, if you're not sure which path to take, this is going to help you get a little bit more clarity. And people who are serious about this hobby and they're tired of feeling stuck. And if you feel this way in any way, shape, or form, this video should give you some pretty good insight here. And I want to break this down with a simple chart here. So on this chart, here I have in Canva. I'm going to go ahead and draw this out to the best of my ability. So don't go easy on me here if I mess up a little bit. But let's just imagine what it looks like on a typical cycle for people, right? So just imagine this is the chart, right? Here on the left-hand side, we have skills, right? And then we have money, right? So I'm trying to do the best as I can here. And I want you to imagine 3D printing not like in a regular chart, but more so like a ladder. So in the beginning, we all start out in the bottom. And the bottom here is like $0. So with $0, essentially, it's because you don't have that many skills. You don't know how to design. You don't know how to sell. You don't know the marketing. You don't know the fulfillment. You don't know what goes into creating a good product. And over time, for most people, when they start out at 0, that's because they're just getting started. But when they start to make a little bit of money, Usually it's because they're selling other products. So they're licensing or they're using other people's designs. And with licensing models, you can only go so far because there's really only a handful of designs that exist on the market, let alone the ones that are printable and sellable at the same time, right? And you can make anywhere from like, I mean, I've seen people make 10 grand off of licensing per month, right? I'm sure this is even more. And I mean revenue, by the way. I don't mean profit. Profit's a whole different thing. And be careful about people that just speak in revenue. You want to hear in profit. And that's like the most important thing, right? Then after that licensing, then you have the next tier here is where most people should be, which is selling, right? So selling product. And by selling product, I mean their own product. And when you sell your own product, you have a lot more control. And when you have more control, this sets you aside from everyone else. And you can also charge more. So you're no longer limited to licensing. Now you can sell your own product just simply because you know how to design, which is a huge one. So if you know how to design on your computer, whatever that looks like to you, you will not only stand out from your competition, but you'll have products that people just don't have access to. And that's what I personally want. I want to play to win, not play to compete. Then when you get really good at making designs, the next step up is STLs, right? This is digital products per se. So imagine like a box, right? And selling digital products is cool because one, it's a one and done type of thing. People download them, they have access to that, and they instantly get access. And your work is basically just to upfront time to manufacture that product, right? Or to design it. Then one step above that is like memberships. And this is like God tier, right? Because God tier and close to God tier, because one, if you do memberships, that means you, by default, if you already have a successful membership, let's just say making $500 a month off of your memberships, you, by some chance, should already know what it looks like to license, to sell a product. You already know the design process. And then that means you already appear where now you can build an income just selling digital real estate, in a sense, like a community, digital real estate assets, digital products. And the tier ladder expands the more skills you have. And the reason why most people get stuck is, especially on the call that I had today, is that this person, they were right here, right? This is where they are, $0, no money. And they were thinking about everything all the way up here. Yet they've had very little experience here. And keep in mind, you can skip the licensing part. It's actually not that necessary, right? But to make a huge jump, just to immediately just start selling memberships and digital products, it's an entirely different mindset compared to selling physical products. And truthfully, for me, for most sellers, for a lot of the sellers that I've worked with, they all have very much the same experience. They all ascend to this basically universal ladder for the most part. And what ends up happening is, like, if you want to just jump the ship into something that is technically a little bit harder to do, without the skill set of selling product, without the skill set of customer support, without the skill set of fulfillment, without the skill set of what goes into designing and modeling and all that stuff, well, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. You're thinking too far ahead without the time investment of actually doing what's required first from selling physical to doing this. Now, I'm not saying you can't sell physical or STL files or memberships straight out the gate. Like, if you're, for example, I've worked with people who worked at Disney, right? And they designed, they were like in the animation department or whatever. And they were like, hey, I want to make models for the 3D printing community. And I'm really good because I've done like 20 years of this. How do I do this? So from there, it's very easy to pivot to something like this because they already have the design knowledge. They already know what goes into working with teams, developing a product. So essentially, they worked in a company that's develop products like movies, right? And things like that. They've been in those environments. But my point is, like, if you're like starting from zero, never built a business before, it's like you're jumping the ship too far. So my point with this is, like, if you want to make more money with 3D printing, you need to develop your skill sets. And those skill sets will allow you to focus, and not only focus, but allow you to differentiate yourself against everyone else. And think of all the top designers you think of right now. a lot of the top designers, I'm not gonna throw any names out there, but a lot of their revenue or their money that they're making is memberships, by the way. Think of the top designer in your head right now. And I'm gonna try to, actually, I'm gonna just do this instead because this is bad, bad drawing. They sell memberships. And most of them may have done physical products at some point, but I promise you a lot of them are selling memberships. They're not selling physical product. They're not selling, they're not selling or licensing designs. They are selling memberships. They're selling digital assets. And think of any designer you can think of right now. I promise, any top one that is popular on any like platform things, digital memberships. That's where their head is at. They're not selling product because, in essence, and I hate to be the one to say this, if I had a membership, say it's $10, right? And I knew how to design, and my designs came with a license to sell and make money, I'm essentially selling the shovel. I'm in a sense, in another way, shape, or form, right? I'm essentially selling the shovel to say, hey, look, you don't know how to design. And for you not knowing how to design, that means you're going to have to pay me a subscription. Actually, remove that. Kind of looks weird, right? You're going to have to pay me a subscription for you not knowing how to do that. So now you're selling shovels to everyone who doesn't know how to design. And if you have a good product, even better, because that means there's going to be more people who are interested in that. And then this is going to grow substantially. So you can have, if you have really good designs and you know what you're doing and you market yourself in the right way, then you essentially are like, you're a designer selling digital products, and these people all want to make money. So the cycle looks kind of like this. And I know I'm kind of like going everywhere. I was trying to draw it, but it's like very difficult to draw. So I have a membership, right? $10. Then someone signs up, pay me my $10 per month. Then they make money. Try to draw money here, really tough here. Make money, and then they reinvest it. And all I need is like 100 people in my ecosystem doing that. If I have 100 people paying me $10 a month, that's $1K a month. And I'm not selling, as a designer, I'm not selling the physical product. I'm just selling the files. And it's infinitely scalable because my only overhead is just basically designing, which is my time, really, the modeling software, and maybe 2 to 3 3D printers. I mean, be very wary of seeing people with tons of printers. Honestly, I think if you have less machines and you're making a lot more money, if you're making 50 grand per month on like 2 or 3 machines, I think that's way more impressive. Like that's where you want to be. You don't want to buy more machines just to buy more machines. You need to have an intent of buying more machines. So if your purpose is to just make a lot of money, think of really why you want to buy more machines. And is it because you're trying to just make more money selling physical products? Or is it just because you just don't want to venture into learning the skill sets required to increase your income without buying more printers? And if you can do that, if you can start thinking in that mindset, suddenly you start thinking of ways to monetize and increase your income sources. And really what this ladder really is just increasing your income sources. So if you're someone that's getting started, you're going to want to sell physical. And I'm going to just do this because it's been so difficult to draw it out. Right? Physical products. Then once you get good, then practice selling STL files. And it's okay if it's not perfect. Upload, free or paid. And over time, you'll get better. It's okay. I mean, it took me 12 designs before I had that one design that took off, right? And then once you master that income source, then you tinker with memberships, right? And now what you've essentially done is that if you are a designer, designing your own physical products, you can take those exact same physical products and just monetize them using STLs. And you can also take the exact same STL files and then monetize using memberships. And now you have 3 income sources, right? And my point with this video, and that's like so bad, so bad, But the point of this video is like, if you're starting out, you really want to hyper focus on just one thing and just get really good at that thing. Avoid distracting yourself, avoid trying to do everything all at once, avoid adding more to your plate. Truly, if you really want to succeed, and I'm going to tell you from personal anecdotal experience, when I first got into 3D printing, I sucked. Like, I was not good. I didn't know how to design. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. But over time, I realized, look, if I want to make my own products and sell products and eventually get better and sell files, for example, one big one at that time before Bamboo was Flexi Factory. I was like, whoa, like Flexi Factory sold thousands of these digital products and he's only the designer. Like, and you do the math in your head, like 2,000 downloads off of a $3 sale minus Colt's fees, whatever those fees are. Let's just imagine he made $2 profit. $2 times 2,000, $4,000 on just a digital product. And keep in mind, he has a catalog, right? So many files. And you think about it and you see if you have 50 different, 100 different files and each one doing thousands of downloads, that is a full-time income just on selling STL files, just on monetizing your design. And that was my mindset back then. I saw that and I was like, whoa, like I wanted to do that. There's no way I can't do it. It might take a while. It might take a minute because I have to design it. I have to put some thought into this. But my lack of experience in designing, I had to make up for it and putting in the reps and practicing every single day. And around that time, I committed by purchasing an office in Manhattan Beach. And I just shut myself in the room and I said, okay, I'm going to learn this software, which was Fusion. I'm going to get really good at it. And I'm going to publish something every single week. So if I publish something every single week for the next year, that's 52 to 54 designs, right? And as long as I was consistent in publishing something, there was no way by week 3 or 4, I wouldn't have at least gotten one sale. Right. And you can go to my TikTok account and you can see the oldest videos. Those videos got 500,000 views on products that were really not that good. They were very messy in my timeline. They weren't that good, but they were sellable. Like I could have sold the physical and as well as the STL. And I was selling the STL files too. I was selling both. So my point with that is that I've created another income stream just simply by learning another skill. And then by learning another skill over time, I was able to create another income stream by offering memberships, which wasn't a lot over in the beginning, but over time, as you develop and grow your skill sets, then it expands. Then what becomes, physical sales in terms of like, monthly revenue wise, like for example, if I was 2 to 3 grand a month in physical sales, very quickly over time, as I was at least showing up every week, those STL files caught up to the physical sales. And then over time, as I transitioned to selling memberships, because I encouraged everyone to do a membership instead of this STL file, just simply because it was more money in addition to the memberships, just income that's consistent. Then from there, I was like, okay, now it's time to do memberships. And then now I have 3 income sources and I did not change anything else other than what I was doing, which is basically creating the model, taking photos, making it nice, neat, and presentable, and then publishing it, and then just distributing it across its proper platforms. And if you do that consistently and you're consistent about it, I mean, you by hands down within a year's time can pretty much see insane results. Like I've literally seen people go from within 3 months 0 to 10 grand. I've seen people make $1,000 their first month with just 2 machines, and not even fast machines, by the way, not even Bamboo printers. I mean, I've seen people, it's just like how quick it happens. But like there's a commitment level you need to have, and you also need to not let your focus deviate. And I know it's very easy to allow your focus to just shift to other things. It's called shiny object syndrome. It's really easy for your focus to be like, oh, I should do this, I should do that, all right, what about this, what about that? Look, the main thing should be just making good products, helping a lot of customers. And if you can do that over an extended period of time, hands down, you'll win, like just by default. So that's the main thing I want to cover in this video. So if you're just starting out, the 3 things I'm going to leave off with you here is 1, and I'm going to just remove this because it's lock in. Like seriously, guys, lock in. Laser-like focus. Right, you lock in next 3 to 4 weeks, I promise you'll have a sale. Second, remove distractions. So stop watching TikTok. Stop scanning Etsy for a bestseller right? Stop niche jumping. Stop. What's other distractions? Stop watching YouTube videos. I mean, there's only so much information on YouTube that's actually relevant to your situation. After a certain amount of money, and I'm gonna say this, like if you're just starting out, watching beginner videos is great, but once you're actually making like 10, 20, 30, 50 plus, you don't watch YouTube videos anymore because there's not really that much value. The value comes out of talking to people and seeing what they're doing and then trial and error. That's the only value you get once you reach a certain level. But when you're just starting out, like watching more YouTube can help in the beginning, but just watching too much of it doesn't help. And the last thing here is learn a skill. And I know like I hammer this all the time. Like I'm saying this in every single video, TikTok videos. I tell people like learn a skill. I feel like I'm like repeating myself, but I'm dead serious. In like the next 3 to 5 years time, 3D printing is going to go through a major transition, and I kind of see it right now. I don't want to predict it too soon yet, but I do see where it's heading, where it's going to be really focused on where like if you want to succeed, you need to be a creator, and not by like content creator or influencer, but I mean you need to be a very good creator. Like you need to make products that are so good, that are unique to you and yourself and your brand and your identity, that people are going to want to support you just because it's you. And that if people copy you or your products or your ideas, they're likely to get shut down for it. Like that's where you want to be. And I'm just kind of ranting here, but like learning a skill long term and then showcasing those products will set you up for success over time. And that's what I would do if I started over. I literally would just lock in for a week or 2, 3, 4, learn how to design. If you want, you can join 3D printing school. No hard selling there. But 3D printing school will give you everything you need. And I also share insights on what I'm doing in my business. And from there, once you learn a skill, you'll start to realize like, okay, it's not, I can't create something because of my skill. It's going to be more like, okay, what can I now create because of my skill? And once you start thinking this way, now you're not bottleneck based off of your skills. You're more so like bottleneck just on you taking action. And if you know how to design and you have an idea for a product and you don't act on it, that's just simply you not making it important enough to work on it. But if you don't know how to design and you have an idea for a product, well, you need to learn how to do that, or outsource the work, hire someone on Fiverr or whoever, do it and figure it out. And it will cost you money and time and resources having to figure that out. Or you can join 3D printing school or try to figure it out on your own. It's really up to you. But I hope this video helps. This is more like a rant. And I think this is to anyone who is trying to sell products, who wants to make money with this thing. Really, if you just want to like get better at it, learn the skills. And you learn the skills, you'll make more money. Seriously, like you'll learn these skills, you'll make more money. So hopefully this video has been insightful. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one.